Page 52, 100 pipers. On this lesson, they're introducing you to the key of D major. They show the scale at the top of the page for D major. It has two sharps. Now remember, the sharps have a particular order they're in a key signature. They're always in the same order. Comes in handy because after a while you see how many there are, you instantly know what they are because they're in that order and because you know the scale. The first sharp in a key signature is always F sharp, always. And the second sharp in a key signature is always C sharp. That's the way they work. Flats have an order too, but it's a different order than sharps. I don't like using written music for scales. I encourage you to go to my video on D major and go ahead and start learning that scale one octave up and down. And while you're there, go ahead and do the scale for B minor, because it is the minor scale that has two sharps. You know, it's the relative minor. Do that one octave, but do the trill exercise and everything. I get the questions, why should I learn the scale? And that's a common question. It's a good question. Why? When I first learned, when I was young and doing this, I didn't learn scales properly. I learned scales according to the tetrachord method that John Thompson and others teach. Totally messed me up. Oh, so I hated scales. I didn't understand them. And why am I bothering with this? And finally, when I got into college, and you have to know the scales and arpeggio, I mean, you're drilling, it dawned on me, now I understand, because the technique came into, because I practiced technique with the scales. And reading key signatures was a breeze, because in knowing the scale, I already knew which black keys were involved. I didn't have to worry about it. It made reading the music so much easier and improved everything. You really kind of have to experience it than have somebody say, just do it, it'll help. So just do it, it'll help. Yeah. Now let's talk about this Piper's thingy and what they're doing. It is 4 lines long, treble and bass clef, 2 sharps in the key signature. It's in the key of D major. Now, how do I know it's D major, not B minor? Because they both have 2 sharps in the key signature. Well, I go to the last measure and I see what notes are there, and it's here. If I fill it out, that's a D major chord. I mean, the F isn't there, but it's there. Because the B minor was this. It sounds totally different. So. Yeah, totally different. So this is in D major. See, most of the time, not always, most of the time a piece will end on its 1 chord or its tonic chord. And that's why I looked at. Sometimes it doesn't and things don't, what's going on? And then you have to look at it a little more deeply. And sometimes you just have to listen to it. You can hear the harmony. You'll learn to hear the harmonies. Major and minor sound different. Anyway, moving on. 6/8 time with 2-beat pickup. Remember, in 6/8 time, an eighth note gets a count, and there's the same as 6 eighth notes in every measure. 6 beats in a measure. We have 2 eighth notes at the beginning, so there's 2 beats. We're coming in on beats 5 and 6. Well, that means 4 beats got to be somewhere else, because I need a full measure. If I look at the end, the last measure, the dotted quarter note is the same as 3 eighth notes. Remember that, because that's the same. It doesn't matter what the time signature is. A dotted note is always the same as 3 of whatever the next note down is. So here, a dotted quarter note is the same as 3 eighth notes. And another eighth note, that's 4 counts. So we're good to go. So let's take it one hand at a time, make sure we kind of understand what's going on here. You're starting out with 3rd finger here, put you here. Sort of, except in the second measure you got an A. So we're really here. And it's 5, 6, 5, 6, 1, 2, and then cross over for 1 note. And then they want a little finger up here. I gotta move. Well, I want to prepare that. I have 2 D's in that measure here, so I'm going to use the D's to change hand positions. Remember, we change hand positions on repeated notes. So here it's going to be a 4-1. This way I can reach the 5 here very nicely. So again, the second full measure, starting with the B, that's 1, 2, here. And now I can go on. And then a 2, 3, again we change hand positions. And the 3, 4, again we change hand positions. We're getting ready for the next line, which we got to be back down here. to do that again. Now in the second line, last two measures, you're here, make one, crossover. Now they want 2 again. Well, I'm out of position for 2. I'm on 2, so that doesn't work. However, if I played that note with, this is the last measure of the second line, if I play that with a thumb, then the 2's ready. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use thumb on that note. So the last 2 measures of the second line, it's here, 2, and then a 1, here. Now I'm ready to go on. 4, 3, 2. Now if you have large hands and fat fingers, that fingering doesn't work very well. This is the third line. This, because you got to come up here with the thumb. If you don't want to put the thumb on that, then we adjust the fingering slightly. So it's stay on 3, 2, and then reach up here, and then reach out with a here. And that works too if you need to. So you can use the fingering in the book if your hands are small enough, or change it to a 3, 2. Change it, you're in this position, really. I'll leave that up to you. Yeah. And then you're up here going. And then they want you to go here. And that's okay because it's a repeated note. We change hand positions. But again, if you don't want to be up here, you're only up there for a little bit. You might be able to do that. Because you can always stay out here and just turn the finger and come forward here. But otherwise, we have to adjust this. It kind of depends on what you're after. Sometimes you fix one thing and you cause another problem or something. So in this one, you'd have to use thumb on that and then cross over. 2, 3. If you don't mind crossing over, that's fine. Use thumb on the A. So again, the third line, second measure. Thumb, and then I'll hit 2 here. If your hands are big and fingers are fat. Otherwise, the fingering in the book is fine. Here. Now in the last measure of that line, they have a 3, 2, 1. Well, if I'm here, 3, again, you don't have to use different fingers on repeated notes. I mean, this book is pushing it, and it's good practice. It gives you good practice, but it's not a requirement. I could go ahead and just use 2 on the first 2 of those, and then 1 on the last one, if you want. So the last 2 measures again is here, a 2, 2, and then a 1. And this is the same as we had in the line above. Here they're telling you to use thumb on that. This is the suggestion I made in the line above. Here, and I said you had 2 F sharps in the line above. Here you only get 1, so you really need third finger here. You need to be able to do this anyway. So relax. The thumb does amazing things if you'll just relax. The thumb can move quite a ways. If you just relax, you can turn a little bit, but don't turn a lot. Just relax. Here, and that's fine. So work on this right hand to kind of get an idea of what this is, because your left hand's moving around a little bit. So we need to be able to focus one hand or the other depending on what's going on. Now this left hand, as far as counting goes, a dotted quarter note gives 3 counts and 6 8 times. So each of these is getting 3 counts. Some of them are tied, you can deal with that. But they want you to go 5-1 and 5-1. That's a beginner's fingering, and it's actually more difficult. So I'm going to suggest another fingering so we don't have to move the left hand so much. I would like to cover all of the notes in the first line in one hand position, more or less. So the first measure I'm going to do 5-2. Second measure, full measure, full measure. Then I'm going to do a 3-1. So I get all 4 of those notes in one hand position. Then at the end of the line, it is an E. So I'm going to use a 2 on the A. It's already there. I'm just going to bring the thumb up 1. Here. So the thumb's covering 2 notes. Hand's not really moving, just the thumb. So I can cover all of that in one hand position. That's what I recommend you do. So then we put the hands together and see what happens. So you're starting here and here. This and here and here. These are together. These are together. Here. And you go through and put the hands together. Go as slow as you need to. Hesitate all you need to, it doesn't matter. You're just trying to get the hands to work together. Then, once that mess is cleared up, then go back through it and sort of work out the hesitations. So it's a steady beat. You keep it slow if you need to, but that 1, 2, 3, 4, that's got to be a steady through the whole thing. And when you can get rid of the hesitations, then we'll think about the articulation. Well, it's connected. Second full measure. It's like taking a breath. Lift up. Lift up at the end of the second line. So lift up like taking a breath. And the left hand, you connect it as best you can. You can't connect it because they're repeated notes, but you get close. Just connect it all. Then the dynamics, MF is mezzo forte, which is sort of loud. Yeah, whatever you think that is. Not loud, sort of loud. The left hand's got to be soft. And actually, you should probably think about playing it very soft, because when you're down here, it's easy to get loud. It'll just kind of happen. So try and make an effort to keep this down. It's the only dynamic they give, but once you get into it and you start feeling the music, you're past the mechanics. It's all taken care of. If you feel it a little louder and softer in places, that's fine. You can always shape the phrases. Come down at the end of a phrase. There in the at the beginning. Come down, bottom, and then take off again. So you can shape the phrases if you want. Come down at the end of a phrase and then take off again. Dynamic wise, experiment. How do you feel it? Play it as you feel it. Speed, allegretto, well, I call it the fun speed, and that's the feel of it. It's not moderato, it's in the middle. That's sort of a moderato feel. Yeah. It's not fast. It's somewhere in the middle. It's a fun speed. About where somewhere in the middle there. It's got to be accurate, so don't go faster than accurate. Now, get into the music and you start feeling the music. We start interpreting the music. The natural accents. In 6/8 time in this piece, we're going to feel a natural accent on beat 1, always. That's the strongest. And then there's going to be another one on beat 4. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2. We don't want to feel triplets. Triplet, triplet, triplet. No, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1. So 2 here. Go to here. Exaggerate them if you have to get the feel of it. Eventually, though, you just want to feel the natural accents. That's why they're natural accents. Then at the end, the last two measures, there's an RIT, retard on, slow down. And the fermata, take the lowest or the smallest denomination, the smallest note. In this case, it's the left hand. It's an 8th note. The fermata on that, how long you're going to hold that out, that's it. Just hold. You're here. And then you just go, and you let it die away here too. You can get softer here at the end. They don't say to, but it's part of interpreting the music. kind of die away, kind of down to a soft or so. That last note, it's going to be very soft here. How much you slow down is up to you. It's just, again, you feel it. You make it yours. That's just one way of doing it. Be careful on the two gotchas they threw in. They throw gotchas in there because a gotcha is something that'll get you if you're not careful. In the second line, the last two measures here, that left hand is tied. You just hang on to it. And then while you're holding on to the right hand, because it's tied, you play the left hand and then go. So they're not together there. And same thing at the bottom. The left hand's tied. And then the right hand's tied. They're all tied. Let's play it together very slowly and check the notes and rhythms. I'm not doing any dynamics and play everything about the same. Just notes and rhythms is all we're doing. I will lift up for the phrasing in the right hand though. And the fermata at the end, that one, that left, I'm going to hold that for 2 counts instead of 1 because I'll just double it. So I'll give us 4 counts because we come in on beat 5. 1, 2, ready, go. 2, 2, 2, 3, 4. 2, 2, 3, hold